This is the story of one of the most controversial FIFA players ever. And if you joined the FC scene recently, you might not even know his name. But he is one of the very few people EA has banned from every service and game they make. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kurt Finnick.
Right in the logo.
I never even knew his last name, but this is Kurt0411. All right? This is maybe the most infamous person in the FIFA community history. Like, he is a hater on a level that I aspire to be. And I don't normally do videos like this, okay? But when I do, it's important that you watch to the end because I have a lot of context behind Kurt, okay? Or I experienced Kurt when it happened, but I was also part of the EA Creator Network during the scandal. So I was, an EA Game Changer at the time is what it was called, but he would call it an EA Golden Boy. And that's totally fair, okay? Now, this video is by FutFC_GG. It looks pretty professional so far, and I hope he covers everything in this video because I got a lot to talk about with Kurt, okay? And when it comes to Kurt, all I can say is buckle up. What's the most important thing in FC 26 Ultimate Team? It's coins. And where can you get the cheapest coins? At Loot Bar. It's the cheapest and it's the safest coin trading platform on the entire market. It's 10% cheaper than all the other platforms. And if you use my code Nitro, you're going to get 10% off. And if that's not enough percent, you'll get another 5% bonus added to what you order. And an extra 5% off for returning customers too. Loot Bar has quick delivery within a half an hour. Big creators use it and it also has great reviews. Don't forget code Nitro at checkout. Buckle up because you're in for a ride.
Also known as Kurt0411. Before the arguments, the suspension, and the lifetime ban, Kurt was known for something far simpler. He was really good at FIFA. He grew up in Malta, played his way into international events, and showed he could compete with the best players in the world. At FIFA 18, he reached deep stages at major events, and in FIFA 19, he earned enough points to qualify for the Global Series playoffs, something that only top players managed at that time. He wasn't known for the drama, he was known for competing with the very best.
7, Cricketter's past 1, he goes past 2!
What game was that the Kurt
As Kurt competed, he streamed and made YouTube videos, and that's where everything really exploded. He started uploading brutally honest commentary about FIFA, stuff that almost no other pro dared to say publicly. For example, after he got the chance to play the FIFA 19 beta at the time, he flew home after and completely trashed the game.
If the game is going to be anywhere close to that beta, the final release, we are in big trouble.
Now, here's the thing. This is why EA Sports hated him and eventually banned him, as you can see by the title. But the reason that they hated him is because EA Sports wants you, and this is coming from somebody who was in the EA Creator Network. I left, but I was in the Creator Network at the time. And what they want you to do is that they'll fly you out. They'll pay for your plane ticket. They'll pay for your hotel. They'll even give you a stipend for your food for the the weekend or whatever dates you're there. They'll cover you for that trip, and you get to hang out with other creators. It is a fun experience. Don't get me wrong. But what they want in return is they want you to just be positive about the game. They want you to market the game for them, and they're getting a hell of a deal with that because in reality, if they were to, have to pay for that kind of marketing, with, just advertising, they would have to pay so much more. So it is like, it's smart from EA Sports, but what they want from you is they just want you to be positive. They want you to lie to your community about whatever it is. They just want you to be hyped up for it so that more people get excited for their game. But instead, Kurt came back in every time he was honest. And even if he's a glass half empty kind of guy, a lot of people resonated with that because everybody at the top, the Golden Boys, everybody who got flown out to these events, seemed to always just be positive about the game or excited, or because they had exclusive information, they were excited about this, the game. And a lot of the community just felt left out because they weren't experiencing the game at the same positive level. They felt like the game was in a really bad place, and Kurt represented that.
This video made fans who felt ignored suddenly have someone voicing everything they wanted to say. But EA...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He was giving them a voice. This guy knows ball.
He wasn't amused. In late 2018, Kurt received his first official suspension, roughly half a season after EA flagged some of his public comments about big FIFA creators as personal attacks.
I'm sure all of this would get resolved with a simple apology from my behalf, but yeah, quite frankly, there is no chance in hell that's ever going to happen.
Who were the creators he was talking crap to at the time? It was like Bateson, I think, was one of them. Nepenthez, Castro. he was not a fan of really anybody who was involved with EA Sports on a really personal level, who just kind of always like the faces, I guess, of the game, you could say, he wasn't a fan of.
Kurt later explained that EA believed his criticism of creators like Marshall and Castro counted as attacks, while he saw them as harmless opinions. This suspension is the roots of everything that follows, because from here, Kurt felt that EA had a target on his back. As the 2018 season continued, Kurt had his first major live incident. At a competitive event late in the FIFA 19 season,
out Jimmy
after
Conrad,
conceding
by the
what
way.
he believed were kickoff glitch goals, Kurt simply walked off stage mid-match.
Somebody's got to protest the kickoff glitch goals.
C'est terrible. C'est terrible pour FIFA Ostoun.
It is interesting how there's been different variations of the kickoff glitch since like FIFA 14, and it's existed every single year. And I just like, they still have not figured out a way where you don't screw off kickoff so much, and it still exists in freaking FC 26. Literally the last 13 games have had one. So I don't blame him at all. Now, it looks like the aggregate was 5-8 with 20 minutes left. That's not completely over. Like, he could have come back from that, but he was definitely more likely to lose at this point.
Ouais, et jusqu'au playoff également.
That clip spread everywhere. To some, it was passion boiling over in a broken meta, and to others, it was unprofessional behavior from a pro on stage. But no matter who was right.
Yeah, but even if he's in the wrong here, which I don't think he is, it's electric. Okay, it is exciting. It is chaos. It is drama. This was the peak of esports in this game. In FIFA, this was the peak. It was when Kurt was at the events. It was what people tuned in for. EA Sports probably made so much revenue off people coming to watch Kurt actually play at their events, because that's what brought the viewership, okay? Think about all of the sports just everywhere. It doesn't even matter if it's an esport. If there is a heel, if there is somebody who is there, like, you can hate, all right, people will actually tune in to hate them, okay? Now this, on the other hand, people loved Kurt, okay? The community was backing Kurt. Everybody wanted Kurt to win. And I just don't think EA Sports liked that, because he was, I guess, in EA Sports' eyes, he should be the heel, but the community, he was the hero.
This moment followed Kurt for the rest of his career. It was the spark that made people realize Kurt wasn't just a critic, he was a lightning rod. Then came the moment that turned him into a household name in the scene. During the FUT Champions Cup in Atlanta in early 2019, which was one of the biggest tournaments of the season, Kurt walked straight through into a broadcast area during a live interview with Castro.
About the Royal not being able to.
I don't care if I can bear it.
Come on.
They're here to watch me.
Hey.
Good luck.
I'm being deadly serious. They're here to watch me.
Okay, maybe they are.
That's
Why don't
cold.
you, Kurt? You go concentrate on your game, and we'll all be able to watch you. Let's win, huh?
If you win, you do an interview.
You go focus. You go focus.
That's a wild interview, man. Because here's the thing. After a year or so, maybe a year and a half of Kurt speaking out against EA Sports, they just stopped giving him the microphone. They never gave him the microphone at events. They never showed him at events. And so he came up to the microphone, and she, like, still, like, you can see her, like, the host of this event here, and obviously Kurt doesn't like Castro. Castro visibly doesn't like Kurt. She would not let the microphone go anywhere near Kurt. And all you could hear him say is, "They're here to see me. They're here to see me." Damn. That was a wild time. Nick. That was a wild time.
This was quite shocking. To Kurt, it was justified. He felt the broadcast didn't show his games and never let him speak after important matches, even when he was performing well. This wasn't just about complaining about gameplay. Instead, this was confronting the competitive system directly. Inside EA, this was taken seriously. Media coverage later described it as one of the key reasons that he received an official final warning from EA about his conduct at the Global Series events.
What did that say?
Throughout FIFA 19 and FIFA 20, about his conduct.
Go back. Abusive or disorderly behavior. Here's the thing about this statement that I think a lot of people, it'll like go over their heads, is they have a lot of things in here that are totally justified. Like, you should have rules against abusive behavior or harassment, okay? But then they throw in things that are just like, oh, disorderly, negative, you know? They're comparing two very different things. Abusive harassment behavior is very different from negative statements. It's very different. Kurt is just speaking his mind. And quite frankly, he never really even called anybody that bad of names. Like, from what I remember, he called people morons and he called people bums, but he never really went that far, you know? He just called them morons. That's it. I've done the same thing. And I really would be up in arms. I would be just as mad as Kurt if I was getting silenced, especially when I don't feel like I've crossed the line.
From EA about his conduct at the Global Series events. Throughout FIFA 19 and FIFA 20, Kurt's criticism went further. He wasn't just calling out the game anymore, he was also calling out the people behind it.
These
Fair,
guys,
which
you
is
have to
fair.
understand, they live in this delusional world that they think that they're doing a good job, right? They think they are doing an okay job. They think that everything's fine, when in reality it's
That is 100% true. And this is some of the context that I have from behind the scenes, because during FIFA 19, this was only a couple months after Kurt's, incident with Castro at the event we just saw. It's because I was talking to community managers in Cologne, Germany. Okay. And I'm not going to say names or anything, and I'll give credit to one of the community managers, but FIFA 19 was objectively one of the worst games maybe ever created. And it was absolutely the worst FIFA ever. Okay. It was horrible. It was El Tornado, spam crossing, kickoff glitch, absolute madness. It was a horrible, horrible game. And that was the start of the downward spiral with nonstop content, because the gameplay was so bad, they just started doing nonstop content in the menus. But nobody really wanted to do it because nobody wanted to actually use the cards in the game because the gameplay was so bad. It was horrible. If you never played FIFA 19, you really were blessed, honestly. You were blessed. But here's the thing. When asked about what their favorite FIFA was and what they think the current state of the game was, most people were like, oh, FIFA 14 was my favorite, or FIFA 17 was my favorite, which was probably my favorite. Or even some people said FIFA 18, which I don't agree with, but fair enough. Or FIFA 15 is cool too. And then when asked about FIFA 19, everybody was like all the players, all the people who played the game, the content creators were like, it's not good. It's not fun. It's in one of the worst states it's ever been in, if not the worst. And then one of the community managers was like, no, it's the best game I've ever played. And we're like, not just the best FIFA, but the best game he's ever played. It is the worst FIFA ever. And it's just delusional to say that. It's so delusional to say that. Now, credit to the other community manager. He disagreed with him. He said he didn't like FIFA 19 either. But that's the truth behind the delusion. They think they're doing a good job. They think it's in a good state because they just lie to themselves.
not. In reality, every single one of these employees who has worked on the last couple of games should be unemployed right now. Let me tell you, that might be a bit of a relief to a few of them. But yeah, in the long run, it won't be pretty. Just ask Chewboy.
I forgot. He does sneak diss a lot of the creators, and he sneak diss Chewboy here. Chewboy was a person, he was a community manager. He worked for EA Sports, and he left EA Sports to be a content creator while still being really tight with EA Sports and getting all of the perks of working for EA without, actually working for them almost. And so Kurt didn't like that either. And so he threw in a lot of these sneak disses, which I think was probably his downfall, is, when you're insulting Bateson and Castro and Chewboy, all of these people that are probably the closest content creators to the EA Sports marketing team and EA Sports themselves, they're going to put in a bad word. And the easiest thing for EA Sports to do in response, because EA Sports don't like Kurt either, and neither do the biggest content creators the community has, the easiest thing to do is just silence them. And that's what they did.
But that's what should happen to them.
He even admitted calling a community manager a bum, incompetent, and a waste of sperm. The tension was now personal.
I mean, that's
in
not
October
abuse. That's
2019,
not abuse.
during
Let's
a
be
live
honest.
stream,
It's
Kurt hit
negative,
a
it's
breaking
not
point.
abuse.
He ranted about EA, shouted things towards EA, grabbed an official EA FIFA scarf, and spat on their logo.
You son of a bitch! You can't beat me, even on this piece of trash game. Fuck you, EA. Fuck, I'm not playing this guy. Fuck you, Corey. All of you. Hey.
Oh. Fuck you, Corey, he says. Now, here's something about Corey Andres. And I'm not going to say anything bad about Corey because he was maybe the only one that communicated. He actually communicated with the community. So he kind of put his neck on the line for feedback. So I respected Corey in that way. The thing is, Corey hated Kurt. Kurt hated Corey. And one time Corey actually posted something about, it was something along the lines, and I can't remember the exact quote. I don't know if I could find it because I know he deleted it shortly after, but it was like, well, it's all right. You keep complaining in your mom's house in Malta while I live in my $1 million mansion. And I thought that was completely classless, to be fair. But they just had beef going back and forth from a community manager to, a pro esports player. It was a wild time. And I actually joked positively about Corey back in the day because I would do these skits about EA Sports employees being incompetent, but it was more of a joke. It was a parody. Even though there was definitely some truth behind it, I didn't go with the personal attacks that I guess they assumed, that they perceived Kurt as doing.
I'll celebrate this draw. I'll frame my own draw. I'll take a screenshot right now of this draw. Actually,
you gotta also understand that as a content creator, he is absolutely, he's putting on a little bit of a show for his audience. And I just don't, even if he hates EA Sports, he's putting on a show for his audience. Do you think that if the camera is off and the live stream's off, that he's actually, spitting on the scarf and stuff? No, it's a little bit of entertainment.
I'll take a screenshot of this draw and I'll frame this draw. I'll frame it. I'll frame it myself. Above all, right in the logo.
This moment went everywhere. Clips, screenshots, articles. It became the symbol of how far things had escalated. And most crucially, it was one of the final straws from EA. On the 1st November 2019,
that's actually crazy
that's
the final straw.
And the
that's his own YouTube
EA
video in his own
Kurt
house.
From the entire FIFA 20 global series. He couldn't compete anymore, he couldn't earn any points, and his road to the World Cup was officially over. EA said publicly that this suspension...
He didn't do that on EA Sports live stream. And even if he did, that doesn't deserve a ban. He did that on his own video. That's so BS.
It was due to repeated abusive behavior, and Kurt called the decision tough to take, said the people behind it was cowards, and claimed that EA told him only after he had qualified through that weekend's online matches, something that required hours of grinding and flawless performance.
What assholes,
to Kurt's supporters, this...
EA Sports will do that, man. And this is probably the worst thing about EA, is that they are genuinely evil people. The EA Sports employees are genuinely evil people. They won't just... ban you. They'll wait until you've put in so much work, and then right when you're about to reap the rewards of your success and all your work, then they ban you.
Like censorship. To
and
his critics,
and they
it
just
was the result
censor
of ignoring
literally
warnings
censor
for over a year. And to EA, it was a justified disciplinary action. But the story wasn't finished. It was about to get even way bigger, because shortly after the ban, several EA staff members had their personal Twitter accounts hacked. The hackers posted messages supporting Kurt, including a fake EA unban announcement.
That is wild. And this wasn't even Kurt that did this. This was somebody else.
Now, there has never been any evidence linking Kurt to the hack, but inside EA, the situation around his name was becoming a problem they couldn't ignore. Staff were being impersonated, harassment was increasing, and the relationship was collapsing completely. On the 24th of February 2020, EA issued the biggest punishment in FIFA esports history. A full permanent ban from all EA games, all online services, and all future titles. In their statement, EA said that Kurt's behavior crossed a line of decency, that he posted abusive and threatening messages, and also that they will not tolerate threatening behavior. And Kurt rejected everything. He said that there was no threats at all, only insults.
That's true. There weren't any threats. It was all insults. He just called them bums, morons, waste of sperm. And quite frankly, as EA Sports continue to silence him and ban people that speak out against him or against EA Sports, it only more proves that he's right. It only more proves that he's right. And it makes me embarrassed that I was ever part of the EA Creator Network. It makes me embarrassed. Even when I was in the EA Creator Network, I felt like I was on the inside. I felt like I was somebody who was, I didn't like EA the entire time that I was in the EA Creator Network, but I was taking advantage of, the EA Sports perks of being part of the Creator Network. I took advantage of that trip to Germany, a trip to New York, stuff like that. And it was cool. But, I just feel dirty now. I feel dirty for being anywhere associated with EA Sports because I think that they're such an unethical, immoral, evil group of people that I wish I just never would have associated myself with. And that is one of my biggest regrets. Definitely one of my biggest
And
regrets.
describe the whole thing as a witch hunt. This was the final break, and unlike every ban before it, this one wasn't temporary. Even after the lifetime ban, Kurt has tried a couple of times to play FIFA, but every new account he created was banned.
Yeah, one of the things that you guys got to understand about this ban, it's not like a ban from his just main account, like he can't compete in the esports anymore. That's up. He can't live stream FC 26. He can't live stream FIFA. Okay? And this guy, who was one of the biggest creators in the entire community, just kind of had his livelihood stripped from him by EA Sports. Now, here's the thing. He's such a good entertainer that he has still made it work. I mean, he still gets, thousands of viewers live for, watch-alongs, watching Inter Milan and stuff like that. That's his favorite team. And he does a lot of streams of other stuff. And he's made it work because he's a really good entertainer. But EA Sports really just attacked him. Like, the thing is, Kurt only said mean words. EA Sports attacked his life. That's exactly what they did. They stripped him of his career. They stripped him of everything he did. Not just his esports career, but like his Twitch live streams and YouTube can't have FIFA anymore, which is everything that he built it off of. I think it's horrible.
Streams were suddenly removed. He said Twitch warned him EA issued copyright strikes for playing FIFA.
So he can't make a new
risking
account and
his
start
whole
again.
channel.
He can't.
So this ban was absolute. Flash forward to today, 5 years later after the lifetime ban, Kurt is still one of the most recognizable names in FIFA history. But he exists completely outside the game he built his career on. And what makes all of this even more beautiful and ironic is how much EA has changed in the years since. Because EA is now shaping itself as the exact opposite of the company that Kurt fought with. EA now talks about transparency, page notes, Discord polls, community-driven updates, gameplay fixes, the same thing that players begged for during FIFA 19 and FIFA 20, the very year where Kurt's criticism was at its loudest. But even with all those changes, one thing never shifted. Kurt's lifetime ban stayed the exact same. No exceptions, no second chances, no return. So in the end, Kurt's story becomes a reminder of how intense the old FIFA era really was, and how a single player can leave a mark on a community long after he's gone. Let me know what you think about this situation, and also, did you even play FIFA at the time Kurt was around? And lastly, also remember to subscribe for more FC and...
Subscribe to Foot FCGG, and thank you for letting me review your video today and give my opinion and talk in context to the situation, because it was one of the most electric times in the community. Even when the game was in such a bad spot, Kurt gave the community so much entertainment. And to this day, he is still banned, which is a testimony to how evil even the current employees of EA Sports are. I have absolutely nothing good to say about any EA Sports employees, even my former friends who work for them now. Absolutely nothing good to say about them. It is such it's such a horrible thing. That what they did to Kurt. It is such a horrible thing. And you have the right, absolutely the right to disagree with him at any point. And even though I don't disagree, you have the right to disagree with him. But I don't think that it is just for him to have been permanently banned. I don't think that was right. But that's my take on it. That's my perspective on this whole situation. And for anybody who has just started playing FIFA in the last couple of years, one thing I'll say is you missed the golden era. FIFA 14, 15, 17, incredible, all right? And then around this time when Kurt started speaking out, things started going downhill, and they have stayed downhill since then. It's unfortunate, but that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.